Hello, I am Patty Serio, Safety Coordinator at OHM BOCES. I am here today to discuss Desha's Law, a New York State law prompted by the tragic death of a young athlete, Desha Sanders. Desha's Law was created in response to growing concerns about sudden cardiac events affecting seemingly healthy young people, especially after it was discovered that an automated external defibrillator, or AED, was locked and inaccessible during her emergency. This law requires that all students and staff receive training on how to respond to sudden cardiac arrest, including the proper use and location of their school's AEDs. This program will provide you with the information and tools to begin implementing this vital training.
Sudden cardiac arrest is a leading cause of death in young athletes and can affect any student or staff member, regardless of age or apparent health. Early recognition and immediate action are critical for survival. By understanding sudden cardiac arrest and knowing how to respond, we can create a safer environment for everyone in our school community. On July 24, 2025, Governor Kathy Hochul signed a bill that required schools to develop and implement cardiac emergency response plans to address sudden cardiac arrest incidents on school grounds and school-sponsored events. This program aims to address the critical issues in this important piece of legislation. We can look at the difference between sudden cardiac arrest and heart attack as distinctly separate causes. In the case of sudden cardiac arrest, it's an unexpected loss of heart function, usually from an electrical imbalance in the heart, with the main symptoms being the loss of consciousness and unresponsiveness. A heart attack is a circulation issue as a result of a blockage that obstructs blood flow to the heart muscle itself. Symptoms can include chest pain, pain in the upper body, and other symptoms.
A heart attack is an episode where the heart muscle isn't getting enough oxygen to it. When a patient is having a heart attack and not complaining of chest pain, the most common thing they complain of is shortness of breath and fatigue. It's a very typical story that someone will say to their spouse, "I'm feeling tired, run down," and they go to sleep and they never wake up because they're having a massive heart attack that then leads to them going into cardiac arrest.
We know that cardiac arrest is a big killer of people in the United States.
Cardiac arrest is a situation where the heart muscle is not pumping at all, and there's no perfusion throughout the entire body of blood because the heart muscle is not at all working to create a good blood pressure. Once a patient is in cardiac arrest, you need to start chest compressions immediately. The way we tell someone's in cardiac arrest is they're unconscious and unresponsive to stimuli. And so our messaging is to do chest compressions when you think someone's in cardiac arrest. It is much better to do chest compressions on someone who has a pulse than not to do chest compressions on someone who doesn't have a pulse.
The cases where people do well is when they're recognized, when they get bystander CPR, and they get access to a defibrillator, and they activate 911. If those pieces of the chain are in place, our survival rates can be over 30 to 40%, and in some places higher.
We have the possibility not just to save people who only have a few months to live, we have the possibility to save young people who have many years ahead, save them so that they can be more productive, and save them so that their families aren't losing someone before their time.
Sudden cardiac arrest situations do not just happen in adults. Youth under the age of 18, while rare, are still subject to this type of occurrence. The importance of early recognition and action, the chain of survival. If someone collapses and is unresponsive and not breathing normally or only gasping, assume that a sudden cardiac arrest has happened and act quickly. Call for 911. Immediately call 911 or have someone else do it. Clearly state the location, school building, name, address, specific building and room, and describe the situation, such as someone has collapsed and is unresponsive. Stay on the line until the dispatcher tells you to hang up. Start CPR. If you are trained in CPR, begin chest compressions immediately. Hands-only CPR. If you are not trained or unsure, perform hands-only CPR. Push hard and fast in the center of the chest at the rate of 100 to 120 compressions per minute. Continue until an AED arrives or emergency medical services take over. If you're a trained responder, administer 30 compressions followed by 2 breaths. Get and use an AED, an automated external defibrillator. Send someone to retrieve the AED. Know where those locations are in your building. How to use the AED. Power on, open the AED and turn it on. Follow the prompts that the AED will give you. Attach the pads, expose the person's bare chest, apply the pads, analyze rhythm. Ensure no one is touching the person. The AED will analyze the heart's rhythm. If the AED advises a shock will occur, and it will announce it by saying clear. Continue CPR. Immediately resume CPR after the shock, or if no shock is advised, until emergency response services arrive. Roles and responsibilities of school staff, teachers, coaches, administrators, nurses. In New York State, school nurses and coaches, as well as physical education teachers, are required to be CPR certified. Many members of the building level emergency response team are also certified in CPR. And at least one staff member in every building during every school function has someone who is trained in CPR and AED. Participate in annual sudden cardiac arrest and CPR AED training. Be familiar with the school's emergency action plan. Know the location of all AEDs in the school. Be prepared to initiate CPR and use an AED if a sudden cardiac arrest occurs. Report any student or staff member exhibiting potential sudden cardiac arrest warning signs to the school nurse or administration. If you're a student, learn the warning signs of sudden cardiac arrest. Understand the importance of immediately calling for 911 if someone collapses. Know where AEDs are located in your school, and encourage peers to report any concerning symptoms. To ensure we are prepared, our school will conduct annual mandatory training for all relevant staff, provide sudden cardiac awareness education to students through health classes, assemblies, or online resources, clearly mark and maintain all AEDs, ensuring they are easily accessible and never locked. Regularly review and practice our emergency action plan for cardiac emergencies. Communicate AED locations and emergency procedures to the entire school community. Sudden cardiac arrest is a serious medical emergency, but with prompt action, lives can be saved. Your participation in this training is vital. By understanding the signs, knowing how to call for help, and being prepared to perform CPR and use an AED, you become a critical link in the chain of survival. Thank you for your commitment to making our school a safer place.
If you have any questions, please contact your supervisor, building administrator, or OHM Safety Services, and we'll be happy to assist you in this important program. Thank you.